And you know I'm feeling good like that. So what you gonna do? And I can't stop thinking about you. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
I wish we stayed the same. I got way too many thoughts in my brain, but I got memories that run through my veins. I'm not one to blame, but I could point out every way that you change. Some things stay up while others go right down the drain. And lately we've been going down in flames. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in the nirvana. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in the nirvana. But if I'm my therapist is saying that I should. I don't believe it, but I really wish I could. Instead, I guess I'll stay misunderstood. Oh, 'cause I'm stuck now, just trying to figure a way out. I've tried but can't seem to slow down. I don't know if I want to. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in the nirvana. But if I'm honest, I get in my feels when I want you. Say you feel it too, I'll haunt you. Hold on till I'm lost in the nirvana. But if I'm seem to slow
to get back to the show and we'll fly. Yeah. You don't have to feel like you're on your own. No one should have to dance alone, not tonight. For somebody to make memories in the bank forever in time. There's no reason to be hard to find, 'cause we've already lost our mind. You and me, we're gonna write a little history. You and me, just show me love and then you'll see. Memories that we make, they are never gonna fade for a lifetime. We don't give no shade if you wanna hide away. We just out here trying to play second drills up in the memory bank.
We gon' make you move. We gon' make you lose. We gon' make you move. So baby, let's open tonight.
Let me get funky. Let me get funky.
We gon' make you move from side to side. We gon' make you lose all inside your mind. Oh, we gon' get you through this just for one more high. So baby, let's orbit tonight. We gon' make you move from side to side. We gon' make you lose all inside your mind. Oh, we gon' get you through this just for one more. So baby, let's orbit tonight.
Let me get funky.
Let's lose our mind.
Let me get funky.
Good evening, all you nasty little Trackmania gremlins. Welcome to week 25 of Mini RPG of the Week. My name is New Lake. I'm your nasty little gremlin of a host. Alongside me is, I don't know, do you self-identify as a gremlin as well, Hunted? Let me know.
I mean, at this point, I guess I have to. If I'm going to be on these broadcasts, might as well. I love the background. I didn't know what the banana explosion was going to look like, but this is pretty much what I pictured. It's perfect. I love that.
Yeah, for those who don't know, which is everyone except myself, Hunted and Flamey, we were discussing backgrounds in the green room before this, and we decided to see what Dolly could come up with if we put in the term banana explosion. This is what came out, and honestly, I'm pretty, this looks, I don't think I'm keeping this, all right? Someone give me an RLCS gig, and this is coming with me. But either way... We're here to talk a little bit about Trackmania. As I said, this is week 25 of Mini RPG of the Week. For those of you who are joining us for the first time or just want a quick refresher, that means that we are going to play a mini RPG map never before seen. We're going to have a 15-minute warm-up for the players to discover it, after which we will head into a Cup of the Day style knockout, knocking out 4 players around until we get to 16, then 2 players around until we get to 6, and then 1 player around until we finally have a winner. Hunted, this is week 25. This is our last week of Season 1.
Last week of season 1, and pretty cool. I'm glad to be on broadcast. We tried last week, and then the internet across Europe decided not to work.
Twitch specifically died on
Twitch,
us.
yes, that's true. But I mean, yeah, no, it's really cool. I mean, I love RPG maps myself personally, and the fact that you get a new one every week, which is pretty cool, by the way. Some mappers work really hard to make these for us too. Yeah, but I mean, I know that you'll talk about it here in a little while, but end of season 1, we'll have kind of like a big celebration, replay some of the older maps, and then hopefully season 2 is just as good.
Yeah. Hey, why don't we talk about it right now? As you've just mentioned there, at the end of this season, we have 25 maps. That's a full campaign filling up. And so what we're going to do is open voting as soon as tonight ends, or slightly after. It depends on when Zetterite gets around to sending out the Google form. And we are going to ask players and members of the community to vote for their 5 favorite maps from our first 25 for Mini RPG of the Week. Voting will close this Sunday night, at which point we will open a campaign with the 5 selected maps. We will play through them in a time attack format until Friday week. That is Friday, the 14th of October, at which point the top 16 players will qualify for a cup on Sunday, the 16th of October. There's going to be a €150 prize pool for that cup. We look forward to seeing who does it, and there will be a little bit of money for each of the 5 mappers whose maps are selected as well. I'm super excited about it. As you said, revisiting the maps is going to be a lot of fun, but right now, Hunted, we'll talk about that more in a second. We have to get into today's map. Normally, on Mini RPG of the Week, us as casters, we get a little bit of a cheat sheet. The mapper lets us know what to expect. We didn't get that this week, so we're going in completely blind as well.
Yeah, well... Yeah, hey, that kind of makes it more fun, right? I mean, we get to discover the map. I mean, we normally get to discover the map when the players do anyway. It's not like we get early access to it or whatever. But yeah, I mean, it is a little disappointing because the mappers do, like in that sheet, they do kind of list like these are the things that I'm really proud of and whatever, and you can kind of highlight those. But we kind of get to discover that on our own. I'm excited. Like I said, I love RPG maps, so this is kind of like right up my alley. This is a lot of fun for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I saw a transition, but I don't think we've actually switched over to the in-game view just yet on stream. But we'll get there in a second. It is worth noting that this week's mapper is Ars Velo. He was one of 2 kind of resident mappers for the competition throughout the course of Season 1 of Mini RPG of the Week, Nickel M being the other one. And he had a series of maps throughout it which had the word bear in their name. This is the final of that series for Season 1. We're playing on Winter Bear tonight, and we are, I think, going to be able to see it now. It looks like we are in game on it, as we are on board with Jura Jojo as we take our way around the map and as he starts to take us around.
Yeah, and I'm having trouble connecting to the server real quick. Give me 1 second, sorry. I'll jump
no problem.
in.
Listen, I'll talk about what's going on with Jura Jojo. Right now, he's struggling to respawn on a checkpoint, and we've had very few issues, luckily, in Mini RPG of the Week with unrespawnable checkpoints. So, fingers crossed that this isn't one of them. It looks okay. He's heading towards the end of the map, right on the last checkpoint at the moment, and I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what this finish does look like when we get in there.
Yeah. Sorry. Oh, that is actually... Sorry, give me. I'm trying to figure this out. I mean, I can look at the broadcast,
It's only
I'm just
slightly
like 10
delayed.
seconds late, so I apologize.
Yeah. No, hey, no problem at all. Listen, do what you gotta do. Tech issues appear to have been the word of the week for the last 2 weeks of Mini RPG of the Week. It looked
right.
briefly like all of Trackmania was going to go down on us and the Ubisoft servers were going to kill us tonight, but no, we've managed to make it in, and we are jumping over, it looks like, to go to Enos, so I'm going to desperately scroll through the list. Where's he gone? They're not even on this list of players. Oh, Jesus. It's all, oh, no. Oh, God. They don't exist. Listen, all right, Flamey, we're jumping across. I'm going to jump on board with Marius, as Marius has joined the server. Marius seems like a good person to follow. The Safe Meister themselves, to see exactly what he's making of it. Risky finishes, in general, a staple of Mini RPG. I think as a style, you know, I mean, there's this constant debate hunted over should you have a risky finish in your map? Because, you know, like, obviously they're a lot of fun, but on some maps, especially maps that people are really trying to hunt, a difficult risky finish just makes it feel like that's all the map is about, whether or not you get the risky finish cleanly, especially if it's hard, can feel bad. I think Mini RPG is that style where a risky finish just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I'm in the middle. I think if the risky finish is too difficult, then it just makes it not worth it. Like, especially with Mini RPG, because Mini RPG is typically like, you know, between a minute and a half to like 3 minutes. So then, you know, that whole run comes down to, can the person not screw up the finish?
Yep.
But at the same time, I don't know. It's been like the meta recently. Like, if you play a lot of Cup of the Days, it seems like every Cup of the Day map has to have a risky finish, right?
Which I don't agree with. I'm with you on this one. I don't think you need it at all.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think a good finish is fine. As long as it's, you know, not. As long as you don't make a risky finish the actual finish, like where it's really difficult and nobody's just finishing your map ever. I think it's fine to have one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And to be fair, I think in a lot of the Cup of the Days, it's less that there's a risky finish. I think occasionally it gets miscategorized. It's more just, here is a finish that I would put in if I didn't also have to put in a very easy finish for people who might not be able to do this one. And that's fair enough. I think that's absolutely the way to go if you're trying to make a map with mass appeal, doing like one finish that's not actually very difficult and one finish that is like, yeah, this person has picked up the game for the first time 2 hours ago.
So I will say, I'm finally in the server.
Yep.
I am watching Marius now. And Marius is very good at this game.
This is true.
But what I find really interesting when it comes to finishes, like we've even seen TMGL maps have this at times. You can have a tough finish or like a risky finish, quote unquote. But if you fail it, there's a secondary finish where majority of the players would end up failing.
Yeah, like,
like Shaky Sands, for instance.
Yeah.
I don't know if you played that one recently. There's a Cup of the Day recently. If you miss the risky finish, there's one underwater that you sink into. That's really cool.
That's a classic. There was a really good one recently. There was the Irish Open Cup with 5 maps made by Irish or Irish adjacent mappers, you know, which was really fun. And we played a full competition on those. And there was one of the finishes on that was one of my favorite finishes I've ever seen for a competitive map, which was it was a finish on ice with a booster towards the ice, and there was essentially a narrow gap in a plastic wall that was angled 45 degrees to the direction people were coming with a long run up. And so either you went through the gap, you got the clean finish, or you bounced off into another finish a little bit further away. So it was a second of time loss, but guaranteed a finish when you got to the end of the map. And it was, I thought, a really fun way of doing that style of finish.
It sounds awesome, but you lost me like 2 seconds into your description. I mean, I get what you're talking about. I love the creativity, right? I mean, some maps don't need that. Some maps speak for themselves, you know, and you only need, like this one. I think this finish is fine, especially because like we just saw Marius there. He didn't have enough speed because he took the jump. Like, he kind of cut this corner a little bit too hard and didn't land properly.
Yeah.
And
Marius
also
seems
that
convinced.
ice slide or bug slide.
I was going to say, I think Marius, based on what I've been seeing, is convinced that there is a bug slide at this finish that will be
so
faster.
Awkward, though.
It does, and he spent a long time on his last run trying for it as well. I'm not convinced that it exists, especially with the down reactor boost he has.
Yeah, it just doesn't look like he's even getting the bug slide off the...
Yeah.
What is that? What is that? Like, is that penalty?
Down reactor boost into penalty snow?
penalty snow. It might be a mod to make it look like snow.
It could be also, yeah, because it looks a little bit more like sand in the physics rather than he's sliding on it.
Yeah. I know bug sliding. I mean, I've seen some maps utilize bug slides in pretty ingenious ways, but I don't know if you can bug slide effectively on penalty sand. I mean, Marius seems convinced that it exists, or maybe he's just gonna spend 10 of his 15 minutes warming up just trying.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, if it turns out to save you that extra, like, you know, half a second would be, I think, generous for how much he's looking to save here.
Yeah.
A couple of tenths, I mean, hey, maybe that matters, right? Although, at the same time, Marius having his reputation as the safe meister, this doesn't seem like a strat that Marius, of all people, is going to be trying repeatedly in rounds if it's this risky.
Marius is one of those players where he will finish last in every round, or last like right on the safe line, right, of getting cut, and then he'll just win the entire thing. He'll just go a slight bit faster towards the end to beat the second place person. I don't know how he does it, but he has like these tiers in his mind of this is what I need to do to get this time, and it's pretty fun watching him do it. Certainly, especially during like couple of days and stuff like that.
Marius has more mini RPG of the week wins than anyone else. I think he's on like 4 or 5 possibly even at this point. I think the next highest is like there's a bunch of people tied on 2, including Yannex and a couple of other very good players. So Marius very good at this style of map in general. As you say, he tends to do it by just being very safe. We just don't see him on camera at all until, you know, the last 2 rounds of the competition. Right. And it's like, oh yeah, Marius is still in, and all of a sudden he just pulls out a couple of really good rounds. And you're like, all right, fair enough. That's another win.
Yeah, I mean, is that, if we're talking purely personal image, is that better than just, you know, trying to win every round and flaming out in glorious style towards the end? Or do you prefer to win them without anybody ever talking about you playing?
There's definitely options, and there are definitely players I can think of who are more of that glorious flame out in early rounds, who've played mini RPG week in the past. I'm trying to look at the scoreboard now because, hey, let's take a look at who is playing, who's driving fast. I don't see any of the names I'd recognize who have been guilty of that in the past, and I'm not sure I can remember them off the top of my head, but we definitely have seen players who, you know, set some of these top times in the 15-minute warm-up, you know, who are near the top of that leaderboard, go on to improve their times by pushing constantly in the rounds, but then drop out around kind of like 20th, 30th, because, you know, they've been pushing on the edge every single round.
Yeah, and it's crazy some of the comparisons you can draw. Like I've always had a big interest in the TMFL, the Formula League, that a lot of the top players play in, and like the season just started, and the first race of the season, Massa had like the fastest lap by like 5 tenths, and he ran it like 10 times. Nobody ever came close to his time, and he finished like 5th. Yeah, because he just, you know, that's I guess that's just his style, you know, push it as hard as possible. And I mean, it's not like he crashed out. I mean, there's a lot more strategy to TMFL than normal Trackmania, at least with like the pitting and stuff, but it's that same kind of thing. Now with this finish, going down through that sand or whatever it is, I don't know if it's snow or sand or whatever. I think I'm getting the feeling it might even be penalty grass. Sorry to cut you off, but yeah, sorry, continue your point. I think it might be penalty grass just based on like just looking at people's wheels. Okay, that's smart. I mean, if it's grass though, bug sliding normally works on penalty grass, I think. I think it's just the angle, the down reactor boost just make it and like it's so short, like you're only on it for a very short amount of time. Like I think you might be able to start a bug slide, but getting out of it with speed is, you know, the difficult part of a bug slide. Listen, I can start a bug slide all day long, but you will never see me come out of it with more speed than I went in with, or the same speed. Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. That is always the case. Angling yourself, or you know, angling the finish. Okay, so with that down reactor boost, I think this makes the finish really simple, because you even saw right then. I mean, he kind of almost sort of clipped like I don't know if that was the rock or whatever he hit right before, but didn't have a ton of speed, and that down reactor boost just gave him all the speed he needed to finish. So it doesn't look like the finish is going to be super I mean, I guess I could see somebody hitting the ring, which would be hilarious.
It will be someone's going to do it tonight, man. I completely agree with you, but I also want to highlight something else you brought up there, which is, we were on board with Zemus, and he did trip over that kind of road border at the end when you have to transition. And we've seen a few people do that. I think that's going to be the part of the finish. That's going to be the last part of the map that can catch people out. That's my prediction for tonight, is we're going to see someone lose to that road border.
Yeah. Agreed. Correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, after watching, a good, maybe 10 or so runs between Marius and Zemus here, it doesn't look like there's any, super skill check sections.
No. I don't think there are. And to be fair, that's kind of, I think, relatively consistent with mini RPG of the week maps.
Yeah, sure.
It's the idea being that there's the skill check is how fast you can do it, right? And it's also, we want the maps to be accessible. We want people to be able to come play and have a good time, because we have seen some slightly more difficult maps as well in the past, and what that tends to lead to is just a bloodbath in round one as we see 20, 30 people eliminated. It could happen again. We will, as we head towards our last 2 minutes, ask that eternal question as well. Is now looking at this map, it looks like we have, about 50 players, 56 players in the server at the moment. Hunted, how many people do you think we're going to eliminate in round one?
You said we have 56, right?
We have 56 players. Now, it's guaranteed at least 4. But
when does it jump to... I thought at some point it jumps to 8, like if you have a certain number of players.
That's if we hit... God, that was putting me on the spot. I think it's above 64.
I think it's 64. I think you're right.
I think then we have 8
a couple weeks ago, I saw that.
Yeah.
I mean, if we hit 64, there's no way it's more than 8, in my opinion. No way.
Yeah, maybe, right? But also, hear me out here. What if it is more?
I mean,
what if we get lots of eliminations?
But where? Where would it happen? Where is there... I mean, I guess coming up through this, loop into the...
I think even those first platforms are going to catch some of our players out. People who are just less used to the kind of transitional style, less used to having to angle their jumps, because it's a chain of jumps there, especially in those early jumps. If you miss that first platform by a little bit, you're going to fall off. I think that's probably the biggest skill check, quote unquote, on the map, even though, as you say, it's not necessarily the biggest skill check we've ever seen.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I will say we'll have 5 people eliminated, the 4, and then one person he'll miss it by a second, and it'll be sad, and we'll cry over that.
Sad. Oh, that'll be very bad. Yeah. I have to say, I've guessed multiple times, and I've gotten within 1 more often than I've never gotten it right. I've never actually gotten it right. I've been within 1 4 times, and that includes guessing 23 people once, and it was 22. And I'm that's unfair. That's brutal.
Yeah, that hurts.
Either way, we have come now to the end of our 15-minute warm-up. The times on the leaderboard. Look, there's about a 51.8. We don't know this week, unlike other weeks, what exactly the mapper considers to be a good time. But with a 51.8 on the board, I think we can say a kind of mid-51 in the late rounds is probably going to be a very, very good time. This feels like a kind of map where players are going to continue to improve over the course of it.
Speedy start.
Yeah, please.
Of course, he's the first player on our screens, but I'm interested to see how things shake up. Obviously, this first round will kind of help us with figuring that out. Obviously, people DNF because they don't like having fun, but I don't know, man. I just don't see where there's going to be a ton of people that get caught out with enough time for them to not make it to the finish.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
This does feel to me like one of the weeks where we're probably going to eliminate 4 people in round 1, and that's it. But we'll wait and see. 5 with 1 person getting... you've gone for the heartbreak narrative, where someone is going to be absolutely crushed in round 1 as they rocket towards this finish. They get onto this booster and then crash out at the very end. It's going to be a little bit tough, but hey, I mean, we'll wait and see.
Well, look, if I wouldn't be a caster if I didn't decide to cast or curse somebody at some point. You know
it's
what
part
I
of
mean?
the job description.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So I mean, I don't know who it's gonna be. I mean, for maximum pure drama and emotion and sadness, hopefully it's somebody that's towards the top. Could you imagine if Marius goes out first round by a second? That would be so
legitimately,
drama.
legitimately, I can't.
I mean,
Like, I actually cannot picture that universe where Marius of all people drops out in round 1. Now, Orion, who's on my screen at the moment,
me
who has
too.
done a bit of casting here. I mean, I could see Orion going out by a second in round 1. That seems possible.
Okay, but let's. He finished that round with about what? 5-10 seconds left, or I think it was around 5 or 6 seconds, and he hit that rock about 6 times.
That's true. He did also say new PB though in chat, which
Did he
worries me.
really?
But either way, we are underway. It is round 1 of week 25, the grand finale of season 1 of Mini RPG of the week. 52 players will start the round. 4 will be eliminated, and I'm going to jump back to see how Neko Jim is doing at the back. Hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah, right now I actually can't bring him up. What happened?
No, neither can I. So I'm going on board with Supra instead, and we'll see how Supra does. Hopefully, fun things going on there at the back. But
Never had that
Supra
bug before.
Maybe I think he might have just left the server, but is still being counted. Yeah. Either way, Supra is the player who's in 48th at the moment and is going to be very on the line, and that's not going to help. Driving off the edge. Well, so I'm going to stay on board with Supra because right now this is where the action is happening.
Oh yeah, no, this is. Have you ever done that, especially in like a cup of the day, where you go through the whole practice, then round 1 you forget where you're going? Oh no, I think that's it, dude.
Yeah, I think that is probably it. So I'm jumping up to Scratcher to see exactly what's going on up there. Scratcher and Half Red have both slowed down in the middle of the track there, that booster, sending them backwards. And those two, they are safe for the moment. But this is now the race to try and get across the line in time. As Scratcher is now coming up to this last jump, is in the safe positions for the time being. But we can see players up here near the front failing. And there goes Scratcher one more time.
Scratcher,
it's that rock, man. It's going to catch people out. I think Scratcher probably safe across the line at this point. You said it yourself. This part, it's going to be pretty hard to fail. A 46th, ultimately, Supra is still within a range.
Supra
might be the... Oh, no. Oh, this is the 1 second you were talking about. Oh, no. Oh, God.
I did it! First cast, and I called it proper. 5 people, I said it.
I'm actually in awe of the fact that you managed to call that.
Awesome.
Actually.
I mean, it wasn't as dramatic at the end as I would have wanted, but you called it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm deeply jealous of you. I can't believe that you've come on for your first time and I've never managed to pull that off. I'm a little bit salty, Hunted.
It's all right. Just every time, just message me before you go live next time, and I'll tell you how many people.
Yeah. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, Fred fell off the track.
Half-Red did fall off the
He's
track.
At
Meanwhile,
the beginning still. Oh my.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's these starting sections that are catching people out. I'm watching Dennis is struggling back there. Crayon Eater, currently the player in the hot seat as well. As I think that's where the battle is going to happen. It is those first sections we're seeing it catch some players out who just maybe not as experienced. But Crayon Eater is the player who's in 43rd, has overtaken Happy Mayor, and is now just looking to not make mistakes between here and the end of the track. But I think we might see a couple more before we get there, and that is a touch. And this now, it is, I believe, a backwards boost here. Is that right? It is a backwards boost, which we didn't really get to see in the warm-up, Hunted.
Yeah, okay. This track is so interesting to me. It's like... it's forgiving and then not at the same time. Oh no, Crayon Eater. By the way, what a great name.
Yep.
But like this track, there's sections like the backwards boost. It's like a legit just a speed check essentially.
Yeah.
And then you have like that loop where if you bonk, you get a reactor boost that's going to take you around the loop anyway.
Yeah.
I think Crayon. Yeah, I think that's it. Right? Dennis finished already. Yeah. GG, yeah. Crayon Eater, you win my heart for best name in the server, but 45th.
Hey, 45th though. I mean, you have to play to get a placing, and 45th is better than no placing at all. I'll say it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, he finished higher than I did.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've technically played in 2 mini RPG of the weeks. I played in the one last week when we couldn't stream it, and lost to mistakes and hubris. And I played in one before that when Deployer was having problems joining the game, which I lost in like round 2 of, but I don't count that one specifically because Deployer was flaming me in call the entire way through, and I joined the warm-up like halfway through as well. Like that hardly counts.
I count it.
You can't just no. We don't count it. Look, all right, let's focus on drivers instead. Twix Gamer down here near the back. Maxu also relatively down here near the back. Maxu, a player I think who we could expect to do a little bit better. Tarpor had a rough start to that round as well. And once again, I'm just going to highlight it. I know we're a long way past it. It was those opening platforms. Like Tarpor, a player who we'd expect to go relatively deep. And especially, I think, in later rounds when we're down to kind of like 20 players, I think we're going to see some early mistakes on those that will cost people.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little bit disappointed, too, that North is DNF'd. I mean, North a very good player, and, you know, obviously I have a little bit of an NA bias, so unfortunate that he's out. But this is a pretty close finish. Ooh. Wait, did he respawn again? I switched off.
Yeah, there's still players trying to cross this line.
What?
Happy Mayor will cross eventually. Dargan got 38th. Happy Mayor got 40th and was 2 seconds behind Jungle Core, but there was room at the end there as players all respawned.
I had the worst luck switching the cameras. It was like as soon as I switched to somebody else was respawning. That was nuts. Okay. Well, again, I do think, I don't know, maybe North has to go do something else or something like that. I don't know. A little bit sad that he's not playing. But that was a pretty good round. And now we're getting people who are like, you know, definitely going to be finishing a majority of these rounds. But so much happens right at that first checkpoint. And you're having people that are struggling getting across just these little paths.
Yeah, I'm watching Zemus struggle a little bit to do that. Yorshmi Veloce struggling a little bit on those early checkpoints as well. And these are names who maybe we'd expect to go a little deeper than, you know, where they are right now. We'll see as the competition continues now. Zemus is the player who I'm watching on board with as he's going through that bug slide. There is the bug slide. At least there's one on the map. We haven't really called it out just yet, but he will be nice and faster, that one. But he is very much on the recovery drive right now.
Yeah, Robot Pie's, about 5 seconds ahead at the moment.
Fish? Sorry, just other traditional mini RPG the week caster. Mockfish currently dropping slightly, but he looks to have climbed out of danger.
What is going on? Okay, I see. Yeah, Zemus falling a little bit behind. Wait, somebody respawned. He just passed somebody who was respawning there. But I don't think it's going to be enough. He needs one more place.
Wait, did Vinch respawn? Vinch did respawn as well.
Okay, why is this finish so much more difficult than I thought it would be? What is happening?
We're still just getting players who are managing to split the uprights, maybe hit those rings on the way through. And I think it reflects in exactly the fashion which it happened and how quickly they leave the server after being knocked out. Vinch was gone. I think that's a pretty clear ring hit and leave. We've seen them before. We'll see it happen again. I have absolutely no doubt. But it was worth noting, Zemus, struggled with that kind of these first two platforms. He made not one but two mistakes trying to get across them in that last round. Did finally get there, but this time around it is Orion. It's Black Pulse as well. Our mod who has struggled to get through it the first time is now leading the pack getting through it. But just in front of Black Pulse, Jura Jojo is going through that checkpoint as well. So good players dropping down near the back at the moment.
Yeah, Jura Jojo having to play catch up right now. Yorsh again, kind of in the hot seat into the magnet, and then this little loop. And if you take this loop too far to the left, you end up with a ton of speed and you slam into that wall. I think that's what happened to Yorsh there, unfortunately. And Jura Jojo sitting at 31st, actually with a little bit of pace right now. This is pretty good. Has about a 1.5 second lead or so. Oh no, that's cut down to just about 4/10 now. This is going to be a pretty close finish. Oh no!
Yeah, this is good.
Clips.
Oh, that's a big mistake from Jura Jojo, who now still has the speed and still has the down reactor boost, should still make this finish, but isn't 32nd. Will cross in 30th as there were mistakes behind him. Yorsh looking to go out. Orion dropping out as well. Empathy will take 32nd. Nitralis joins them in 34th. And that end, again, you said it. Look, I was fully on board with you, Hunted, in the warm-up when we were like, this finish doesn't look that bad. This doesn't look too tough, but it's catching players out. We're seeing multiple overtakes happen at the very end.
Yeah, it's nuts to me that I don't know. I don't see it. I do see the clipping going around that rock, and they kind of clip the road border, right? That does look like a challenging section that you have to be pretty precise on. But I haven't seen anybody do it. I've seen the aftermath of people hitting the rings or whatever, but I haven't actually watched anyone hit it yet. It's crazy. I mean, hey, if it's going to cause drama, I'm all for it, but again, we're having people that are, I mean, taking 2-3 times across those first little platforms. Yeah, Derjan looks like this is what his third or fourth try. Unfortunately, not going to be in the conversation, I think.
Yeah. Who is in the conversation at the moment? Darjan is a long way back. Kiraj, the mapper from Frontiers, another person who's made a lot of very good maps, is currently sitting on that danger zone, but it is a close battle. Novu just there, and on that, Kiraj just clipped that backwards boost, and you saw Novu go flying off in front. Of course, they have overtaken other players. Mockfish, after mocking Orion on the last round, has made a mistake of his own and is now looking to catch back up. He's heading towards this last turn. He's heading towards the finish. He's clean through it, but crossing the line in front from Kiraj takes 26. The player overtakes Mockfish at the end, and that player was Whoop. Whoop will eliminate Mockfish as Mocked was just too slow. That was half a second, and it was entirely in that last turn.
Oh man. Oh, I'm hoping for Derjan to finish, please. We need to see it.
The one piece. The 1 second is no. The one. No, Darjan. No. The 1 second. The 1 second is real.
Oh my god, it is real. He needs to like bounce off the ring, waste a second. Okay.
All right, 4 seconds. Yeah, 4 or 5. You know, close enough either way. That will be Dargan going out. It will be Mockfish going out as well. And what is, I think, poetic justice for mocking Orion last time around. That's just good comedy.
Oh yeah, I mean it's karma is what it is.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
Yeah,
all right.
We do have to love it.
We're heading rapidly. What is happening? I don't. Are people clipping the wall on the right, or are they just missing the platform? Oh, Whoop unfortunately hits the checkpoint itself there, and now he's pulling up the rear this time.
Yeah, it's going to be a long way back from it. BMX and Tarpor also both down here pretty low, but I'm watching cars bounce around the map near them instead, and so they will be safe, it looks like, for the time being. Whoop is managing to get these overtakes done in the meantime as well, taking advantage of those players bouncing around. We have one DNF already, as Whoop now will climb back into the safe places with plenty of map left.
That's crazy. After the start he had, I mean, he smashed off the top of that checkpoint. But hey, it's just consistency.
Ooh!
Twix.
Whoop.
Oh no, somebody respawned. I think Twix might be safe.
Yeah, Twix might be safe. Whoop, meanwhile, not safe. Whoop bounced off a rock about as hard as possible, is now sitting a long way down, and will ultimately cross the line in 25th place. As Twix is the winner on that one. I know. I know, as soon as you said
consistency. And then he's consistently hitting that rock, I guess.
Yep. It was a pretty heavy hit. That's the risk of carrying too much speed around that last turn. Tried to take a little bit too close. Will pay the price for it, as we will be inside our top 20 after this one. This is our penultimate round, as Twix is crashing a little bit again. This is our penultimate round with 4 eliminations. So the next round, I think, tends to be what you can think of as the most bloody round hunted, you know, when you're getting rid of a full 5th of the field of 20.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, Twix, please. This is actually going to be a big race. Gold, I think. Gold is not in the safe spot. Yogg right in front of him is. This is a 3-man race to stay in the top 20. And Twix is going to be the 3rd player behind the 2 of them. And then we're coming up to the boost. Oh, Twix clips it himself. Gold. Did he manage to land?
No, Gold. Someone else respawned behind them, I think. No, they didn't. I don't know what's going on right now. Either way, Twix is definitely chasing. Apologies, I'm just getting confused here in front of it. The finish looks good for all of them. We're getting to that point where they are all consistent. Twix is bound. Okay. I mean, look, the caster curse is just too damn powerful.
Oh, Twix,
please. You've made a fool of me, Twix.
I genuinely, and I don't want anybody to. I don't want to like hurt anyone's feelings. I genuinely don't understand how you're hitting the rings.
I know.
It's a booster. It's not like you're on ice and you can't turn, or like you're no steering into it.
Yep. Look, I don't know what happened. He was out either way. So ultimately for Twix there, not the end of the world. Big names dropping out though. Yogg and Corzo, both players that have made top 10 appearances before. And we're definitely getting down to that business end of the competition. Meanwhile though, Utstraling has been out at the top of the leaderboard for an awfully long time. Is still looking good on that one. And it's worth noting that he has improved that time down to where we were kind of looking that kind of mid 51 seconds.
Yeah, and I think this was actually the first round where everybody made the checkpoint 1 without respawning for the first time. But now Gold trying to catch up to the back of the pack. He was able to hold off his competitors last time around. This time he's the one chasing. He actually had a little bit of speed. Bobbles a bit there. Somebody respawns in front of him. That was Liker, I believe, right off the checkpoint.
And Utstraling was respawned as well. Oh, this is going to be a close finish. Gold has overtaken a lot. He will be safe, and he's safe by a lot, but who's down to the bottom? It looks like Fuber will go through at the last. That was a bloodbath at the end. Impossible to keep track of exactly who was respawning where. For a second there, I saw our current pace leader, Utstraling, respawning that last checkpoint, and I got nervous. It will still be a rough time for a lot of household familiar names at this point. Tarpor, Black Pulse, our admin going out, Zemwis, who we spent so much of our warm-up with as well. They all joined Fuber in dropping out just inside our top 20. The last round of 4 eliminations, and it was, I think, exactly what we were hoping for in terms of a cull. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, this is great. This is exactly what we wanted to see, and I'm hoping, because the closer the back stays together through this, the more we get to see that, like the backwards boost and everything, how that comes into effect. And Gold for a moment there was towards the back yet again. This time, it looks like Kiraj again.
Oh, Jojo.
Oh, did he miss? I wasn't on screen with him.
Yeah, no, Jojo just yeeted himself up the side of a checkpoint and took a little bit of a jump and is now on the recovery drive. It's him and BMX a long way back at the moment. BMX, the car in front, but still 5 seconds adrift of the rest of the pack. Is relying on a mistake. Tunix, it looks like, might have made that mistake in front, and Alex behind, but BMX is still a long way back. BMX is still keeping up. Heave, though, has crashed out in front. Heave with a massive crash in front. BMX just needs to make the finish. He's bouncing. Alex with the mistake as well. BMX will get through in 12th place. Who's behind them? Alex respawns again. And that means Heave looking to go through. Has Heave made it across that line yet? Alex is backwards. He did make it across. All right, Heave made it across. Alex out. Jojo DNF'd in the background. And again, those last few turns are providing all the drama we could ask for.
Dude, Heave, Heave almost, I mean, it's unfortunate because Nalix didn't really, I mean, it wasn't as close as it could have been. Heave was an inch away from bouncing off the ring.
Yeah.
And that was very, very close. Yeah. I don't know. I guess Heave just wants to make it. Heave is one of those players I would say, you know, I'd give a pretty good shot of a top 10, top 5 finish, and he has made it very close in the last couple rounds. And then, of course, he leads through the first checkpoint heading into this round.
Yeah, well, I mean, naturally, you know. Meanwhile, Looker's Turbo, down near the bottom at the moment, is going to be looking to make that drive back up field, looking to make some overtakes happen as players in front will still be safe. We're at a point where it's starting to get harder to rely on mistakes from your opposition, but hey, it's mini RPG of the week. It's a mini RPG track, and it's a mini RPG track where the final turn is continuing to catch players out, so it is not over until it's over here. And honestly, at the moment, Looker's Turbo is just driving faster than a lot of the cars in front of him.
Oh, that was very close. I thought he was going to clip that. But yeah, I mean, you could see he's on the warpath here. Needs somebody to make a mistake. He gets one mistake, but is that going to be enough? Heave at the back again. Does he lose out this time? He does. Looker's Turbo. What a comeback.
1/10 of a second as Looker's Turbo overtakes Heave for the snipe at the line. Through that ring he goes, and Kiraj, the other player, to get caught out by the end there, tripping over the wheels, catching on that last road border. And ultimately, though, will be a 2 eliminated. It will be a big eliminations. We're heading now into the top 10. This is for the Liquipedia page, Hunter. This is important now.
Man, Heave is going to dream about that stupid road border.
Yeah.
Nightmares about that thing at the end of the day. But Looker's Turbo, I mean, literally living up to his name, that was very, very close. But he did have an incredible drive. He was, maybe 2, he was at least 2 seconds back from the the last safe place, and he made up a good second and a half by the time they got to that
needed
finish.
to, right? He got through by a tenth.
Do it again too.
Yeah, it's going to keep getting harder. This is not the position you want to find yourself in repeatedly. He is only one place off. He only needs one mistake in front. He goes through the triangle. I mean, okay, that's just showing off this point. And now he might overtake Marius. There's such a thing as two safe, and Marius wasn't. He overtakes multiple. Lucker's turbo is behind. Marius going towards the finish. Beta Toast is just in front of him. Marius will drop out in 10th. One mistake too many from the Safe Meister. Jabel behind.
Wow, this is fantastic action. This map, I'm not going to lie to you, I was a little underwhelmed when we were in the warm-up, and I was like, oh, these rounds are going to be boring. There's not going to be any drama at the end. How wrong I was. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't say that during the warm-up. This has been fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the map helps provide the drama, but it is ultimately the players who really do provide a lot of the drama, and they're delivering tonight, all right? Avoidable mistakes from some players, you know, I mean, in safe positions, I think they could have afforded to take things a little bit safer, but at the moment, hey, it's still all to play for. We're heading into our last couple of rounds of double elimination. Two players going out. BMX, the player who might be looking to do it this time around. Lucker's Turbo is back on a little bit of a recovery drive, but he has managed to stay in better touch with the pack this time.
Yeah, Lucker's, he seems to really struggle with that water bounce turn. That seems where he's losing all of his time, and he's really slow out of the dirt section there, and then has to, you know, cut the checkpoint of all things to get back into the group. I can't believe he did that. Like, how confident he was going through there. He's going to have a pretty good drive here. He is in front of BMX, who is quite a bit away. Everybody looks like they are going to finish properly. No ring hits. Gold? Did he make it through? Okay, he did. It was kind of a weird angle on my screen. Yeah. That's unfortunate for BMX. No mistakes in front of him. And, I mean, that was a good drive by everybody just about that time.
Yeah, keeping it clean through the last section, and that has not been the case in every round before this. Unfortunately for BMX and for Tunix, they had dropped just that little bit too far behind, and I think that's the watershed moment, right? Like, not seeing mistakes at the end. It is no longer enough to rely on mistakes from opponents. You are now looking for pace. You are now looking to make sure that you don't make any mistakes of your own, because one is probably going to be enough to cost you at this point. And I think we might have seen a couple there at the start, heading through this checkpoint. Lucker's Turbo is behind. No one. It looked to me for half a second like someone clipped. It was just a little bit of lag instead. Novu, though, with a bad turn, has dropped a long way back.
Yeah, Liker is keeping up with the pack. Gold, who finished third in the last round, is going to have to try to fend off the attack from Liker. They are wheel to wheel right now, going up and through that. It looked like Gold got the worst of that backwards boost, unfortunately. Hopefully he can try to make this drive, but really his final hope is this rolled border. Nobody clips it this time. Although Liker, a little bit of a bobble. It's going to be really close, but he ends up finishing it out. Gold made it 3/10 close, but unfortunately he is going to go out in 6th.
And that is one of those rounds where it's closer than the time says, because as you said, there was that little bit of a bobble there at the end. If that car tips slightly more, if you get a little bit more of a slowdown, then all of a sudden that could help Gold going through. It isn't. We're into our top 5 instead. It is now down to just one car eliminated per round. It is definitely in that territory where one mistake is going to cost you everything. And it is Enos who is starting to drop behind a little bit, but he's not done by much, and he will get right back into it. No mistakes early. This is what we love to see. This one should come down to the end.
I'm calling it right now. I think Liker somehow will pull out the victory here, and in that final round, he will be in 2nd place until the road border.
Ooh, all right. That's a spicy little prediction. I mean, seeing just the pure pace that Udstraling is putting on the rest of the field right now, I mean, it's going to be tough. He's definitely looking quick, has gotten down under the 51, and meanwhile, Lucker's Turbo has made the mistake, relying on someone else to make a mistake up front. Won't even matter. The DNF, I mean, hey, I'm not always for it. You never know if the mistake is coming, but this time, it wouldn't have mattered. It is going to be 4 players across the line. Liker stays alive. So does Hunted's prediction. Lucker's Turbo will take a 5th place, which, you know, it always feels bad going out, but a 5th place is nothing to sneeze at.
No, I mean, especially with some of the names in this lobby as well, you know, 5th place, definitely something to be proud of. At least you didn't crash in the first checkpoint 35 times and then was out. I mean...
Oh, Enos. Wait, he's taking just a different line there. That's interesting. Yeah. Keeping an eye on that one in future rounds as well. He's just landing much earlier. It's a little bit riskier because it relies on just getting a perfect landing, but it is getting him faster through that first turn.
And Utstraling ran a 50.9 in the last round, just a 10th off his record right here. And you can see, look at how much speed he has coming out of that. He takes that loop so much faster, and it allows him to jump entirely over that backwards boost. But now Betatos, the lone German, got to catch up, needs a mistake. Not going to find it, although Liker struggling.
Speed.
He's gonna do it again. Liker has lived to the top 3 by the skin of his teeth.
He's just about made it in. He'll put himself on the podium. You've predicted him to take the win down today. I mean, I kind of want to back Radiance, but it feels like cheating because he is just that much faster than the rest of the field at the moment. But pure pace, it doesn't always matter. Pure pace will get you far enough. It puts you in contention for a win, but it is not making a mistake. It's carrying that pace and showing it in the final rounds that matters. Liker is going to have a lot to do here in this last round, as he is going to drop behind his opponents in the first couple of turns.
This bug side's really important, and takes it poorly. This is where Luckers was struggling earlier as well. Just couldn't quite get the speed coming out of that, and then it leads into essentially having to play catch up, and he does a really good job making it through that turn. He might even overtake Utstraling here. Unfortunately, does fall back, and that is, I mean, that speed check is so devastating when the pack is this close.
Yeah, and it's just been back and forth the entire way through this. It will be Enos carrying more speed towards the end. Liker better through the last turn. It's a bad bounce for both of them, but worse for Liker, as Enos will head towards that finish line, will put himself into second, and Liker will take a third place, tripping over the road border.
Okay, what my prediction meant to be was that Liker would take the podium and go out to the road border.
I mean, it's a pretty good prediction, you know. I mean, and like 3 + 1 or 2 + 1 is 3. Ultimately, doesn't matter. We have a grand finals. It's going to be Enos taking on Utstraling, who chat reliably informs me is Radiance, the player from Team W, and we're going to see who gets an early lead. We're going to see who's chasing on this one. It looks like Enos has more speed, and it's going to be neck and neck into this bug slide.
Yeah, this is going to be really close. Enos was faster through this section than Utstraling was last round, but again, he just lost a ton of speed coming out of this loop and ended up hitting that backwards booster. And this time around, yeah, it looks like Utstraling just so much raw pace here, though. Enos doing a pretty good job keeping up. That was a much better section that time around. But he's just so far behind. Yeah.
He really is just a little bit too far behind. And Utstraling, he's not made a mistake once. Radiance to cross the line in first place, barring a mistake here at the very end. Won't happen one more time into the signs behind those finish. And that will be a win for Radiance. It was...
Did he tie his PB?
He did get a PB. He equaled his PB in the final round. A PB that is a full 6/10 ahead of anything anyone else could do on the server this evening. Radiance with a massive performance in week 25 of Mini RPG of the Week.
That was fantastic. I didn't realize Betatos was second place. I really just didn't even register to look at the names on that leaderboard. But yeah, what a great run. And obviously Radiance or Utstraling or whatever, you know, definitely a very, very consistent player on that map. Like, he figured that out so quickly. He was towards the pack. There was that one round when he had that one mistake and it was very close for him. But other than that, I mean, that was just a dominant performance. Really well done. Yeah,
controlled the match the entire way through, and it is a well-deserved win. And with that, Season 1 of Mini RPG of the Week draws to a close. The curtains come down, and we will be back Sunday week for our competition, rounding things out after this week. As a reminder to anyone who may have missed it, at the top of the competition, we are going to be running a competition on the 5 best maps from the first 25 of Mini RPG of the Week. What are those 5 maps? Well, it's up to you guys to figure that out. There is going to be a vote going around, a poll. Get everyone to vote in it, and get ready to play in that competition. TimeAttack will start when voting closes this Sunday. TimeAttack will close Friday week. That is Friday the 14th of October, and we will play the top 16 in a cup mode on Sunday the 16th of October. There's a €150 prize pool on the line. There will be just a little bit of prize money going to each of the mappers of the 5 maps that the community chooses as well. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a ton of fun. We have had some great maps in week 25. Hunted, thank you for joining us for week 25 as well. I'm glad we finally managed to get you on, that all of the tech actually cooperated.
Yeah, I mean, Twitch decided to work for us today. That's definitely a bonus. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I love these RPGs, and um, it was great fun. This map definitely delivered. The players, well done to everyone. I'm super looking forward to that event upcoming though. That should be a lot of fun, and hopefully we get to see some very good maps returning very soon.
Yeah, look, we've had plenty of them, but I could sit here and wax poetic about this competition all night. I love it. Hunted, again, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you to our mapper, as always, Arsvel, who did a great job. We'll have words about the fact you sent cars flying into my Twitch stream at the end there. I don't know about that one, all right. But other than that, we're done. We'll wrap things up. We'll see you back here Sunday week, or, if there's something else going on the channel, stick around. Thanks very much for joining us, and hopefully see you all soon.
has got you feeling too much. It's feeling too much for you. Then all my lovers gonna dance with someone that shows love, not you. Just dance. If all my lovers got you feeling too much,